Hey guys, Dislitter Magic here, and it's finally time to cover what people have been requesting forever on this channel, and that's a new format called Canadian Highlander. And I don't particularly like this format the way it's stated, but I do play it, somewhat often with a group of friends, but let's just say we're not following the rules. So why the name Highlander? Well, because Commander was what Wizards called Elder Dragon Highlander, EDH, that's what it actually stands for. I guess to avoid legal reasons, either from the people who own the movie series Highlander and television show, or they just thought they should rename it so that it doesn't look like they're stealing a user creation. So whatever, I don't know. There's rumors. I don't know what's really true. So this is Canadian Highlander instead of Elder Dragon Highlander because it's sort of a different version of Highlander. And what's the old motto from Highlander? The old Highlander memes, there can be only one. Ha ha ha, get it? We already had a format and it was called Singleton. We didn't really need the name Highlander, and if you ask me, it's just asking to get sued by those people who made those crappy movies. But whatever, so let's just read what their wonderful and very respectable, prestigious website, CanadianHighlander.wordpress.com says. Let's see. Canadian Highlander is an up-and-coming 1v1 competitive MTG format for mature, respectful, and fun players. Okay, there's so much I could say about that opening sentence that I almost just have to not say anything at all. You can't just specify the intent of the participants. Oh my god. Why didn't they just put no douchebags allowed? Just add that to the bottom. So infinite turn 2 douchebags are what ruined Commanders, so they don't want those people in this format, is what they're really saying if you read between the lines. But also, no fun allowed and no casuals allowed because it's a 1v1 competitive MTG format. Did I mention that this entire section here is basically written by clearly one person and they do not know what they're talking about? Like, for example, it says, let's see, Highlander is devoted to playing great magic with great people. Wonderful, that sounds great. Whatever, it's like some corporate mission statement that nobody respects or cares about. Each deck must contain at least 100 cards, so 100 or more, which is interesting, and contain no more than one of a given card. Thus, Highlander, thus, it's actually called Singleton. The exceptions to the rule are basic lands and cards that explicitly state that any number may be played, like Relentless Rats. They didn't need to state that in the rules because there already is a game rule that says that a card's text can override the game rules. So you don't need to say that there's a rule. It's circular. You get it. See, somebody who really knows the rules wouldn't have to say that. So in Canadian Highlander, each player is allowed 2 mulligans at 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that's interesting. So apparently you can mull to 6, then mull to 6 again, I guess they're saying. I don't know. That's not the way that we play it. Hey, this ain't a real format. Play it however you want. Let's see. Additionally, we follow the Vancouver Mulligan system. I don't remember which of the two that is, so I'm just going to say do whatever the hell you want and scry if you want to. I'm way too lazy and disinterested to look up what Vancouver Mulligan means. I think that's the new one, and I don't care. Do whatever your play group wants. Like I said, not a real format. So for every 100 cards within a deck, players are allotted 10 points. And this is where this is the standout feature. This is what everybody talks about. If you're going to tell somebody, what's the thing, what's the difference with Canadian Highlander, it's the point system. It's like an ultra soft ban, okay? There's outright banning, and then there's restricting, and then there's a point system. So this is the least restrictive, but it also stops people from doing this stupid, just degenerate crap. And if a card is involved in stupid, like turn 2 infinite combo degenerate crap, then this will take care of the system because they'll assign one of the cards a high point number, but you can still technically use the card. But I'll get into that later. So anyway, you get 10 points per 100, so 100 through 199, you get 10 points, and then 200 through 299, if your deck was that big, you get 20 points, and so on. And then the other thing is you start at a life total of 20, and there are no sideboards, and there are no commanders, unless you play with my group of friends and you start at 40, and there are commanders. So in other words, it's no douchebags commander, which honestly is probably what we should call it, because we're not really playing Canadian Highlander. It's just no OP decks. Like that's what this is. That's what Canadian Highlander means to people, is no stupid degenerate tier 1 win on turn 2 before anybody has a chance to do anything, unfriendly, not even worth your time to shuffle commander, okay? This is like fixed commander, except like I said, officially this isn't commander. You start with 20 and there is no commander. But I mean, literally nobody I've ever talked to plays it that way. So, okay. But if you're that interested in commanderless 100 card singleton, it actually kind of does sound neat too. So just, like I said, play whatever you want, mix whatever you want. You could play Commander Blitzkrieg if you wanted, or play and chase multiplayer Commander. Doesn't matter. So before I get into the point system, the following cards are banned in this format. Anti-cards, probably because gambling like this is illegal in some countries. Dexterity cards, which I have never heard that term in my life, but I assume they're referring to cards you have to flip or drop from a certain height and land on another card and just, that idiocy. Because those cards are banned in everything. Conspiracies, because that wouldn't even work. Silver bordered cards, because duh. And literally the card Shahrazad, because that card has done more damage to humankind than microwavable breakfast taquitos and Ebola combined. Whoever thought that was a good card and approved it and let that go out to the print run in whatever Arabian Nights or whatever the hell it was in, oh my gosh, I hope they don't still work at Wizards. I really, really do, because they don't know how card games work. They don't know how tournaments work. I'm convinced they don't know how time works. Also, even back then, they had to have known that everybody would call it Charizard. They had to. No, I'm not going to look up the timing on that to verify it. So then on this website, they go into the history. It says, give or take, this format is very close to 16 years old. No, it isn't. Shut the hell up. No, it isn't. Okay, you know what? I'm not reading this. All right, point system. So you're in a normal deck, you're not allowed more than 10 points, okay? So, like Ancestor Recall has 7 points. So then if you want to put in a Demonic Tutor, you can't, because that adds up to 11 and you're over the limit. You are only allotted 10 points per 100 cards in the deck. So this keeps, I'd say, combos from going off, but I like the method that I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Uses. I think that's the one where you're not allowed to have the cards together in a deck. You could have, however many copies of this card and however many copies of that card, you just are not allowed to put them in the same deck. That would have been so much better, but then again, I mean, cards like Demonic Tutor, you just go into your pile of 100 cards and go get whatever you want. I mean, that obviously deserves 4 points. And then other stuff, like I've probably got the list up on the screen here by now. It's got a point total of like 1 or 2 because it's like scry or draw. And you don't want somebody to pull some Goblin Charbelcher BS or Splinter Twin, just something like that, where it's just, I won on turn 2. Oh, I won on turn 3. I'm literally playing Singleton 100 and winning with the same cards over and over and over and over and over and over and over. The same way, same method, same combo, same cards. It's always fetch, scry, and draw that are at fault there. Also, free casting and mana ramp, they play a part. So you can see why some of these have been assigned, pretty damn high numbers. Now, my beef with this format is that, like, Mox Sapphire, Mox Pearl, all this Power 9, first of all, way too low of numbers. And secondly, they're allowed at all. That means that somebody could just walk in and play it. So my version of Canadian Highlander, which is literally just Commander with no dick decks, which is what me and my friends play, we just call it Canadian Highlander because to us, the point system is just one big sign on the outside of the format that says no, just tier 1 garbage. No people wasting our time. No hyper competitive have to win people. This is not, we're playing casual. This ain't the Pro Tour, like take your stupid $4,000 OP deck and piss off with it, which is pretty much what we told somebody when they pulled that crap. I think we had a 6-person multiplayer going. We're all just playing like stupid funny troll decks. And then he wins with a turn 2 combo. And we're like, you know what? Never come back. And from what I've heard, hundreds of you out there have had experiences like that. Now the guy started complaining, I built this deck. I just built this deck. I put all this money into it and traded and finally got it done. And now I don't have anybody to play with. This is so unfair. Well, what a coincidence, princess. We were all thinking the exact same phrase. This is unfair. Also not fun. Also stupid. Also, why are you shuffling $800 cards? Okay, I think the highest one in there was like 100 plus, but still. There is no room for that in Commander, okay? I know that people do it, and I know that the people running the ban list have their heads so far up their own ass they don't know which way's up anymore. Plus, they clearly unbanned Protean Hulk right after buying up a whole bunch of copies of it. I mean, everybody heavily suspects that they did that, and in my opinion, that's what they did. Until there's hard evidence, I mean, there was no reason to unban that broken turn 2 shit. No reason whatsoever. So there's so much wrong with Commander that they made this, except like I said, officially it doesn't use commanders, but everybody I've ever talked to or played with, they use commanders. It's just, you're not allowed to have this and this in the same deck because that would in Canadian Highlander add up to more than 10. So at least that's how I use it. I'm sure some people are going to be like, no, Commander is completely different because you always have a card in your hand and it enables combos and blah, 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 blah. Good for you. I thought Canadians were supposed to be polite. My God, calm your tits. So play it however you want. I mean, some people just call it point system commander if they're going to mix them together. There's nicknames for even this format. Some people just call it singleton because that's what it always was. There's nothing Canadian or Highlander about this. And the fact that, EDH is Elder Dragon Highlander just confuses people because then they think they need a commander. So everything about this format is stupid. It's not even like a real format, and it already was a thing. And then they're claiming they invented it in '99 in Vancouver, which is not true, and also has nothing to do with the term Vancouver Mulligan, as if that wasn't confusing enough. So my message to whoever is pretending that this is a new thing or that they invented it, can you not? But I thought I'd make a video about this because it just takes out, well, one, the commander, two, the double life total, and just lets you play really high variance Magic. At the end of the day, that's what this is supposed to be. Your deck, the whole point of having a 100 plus singleton deck is that it plays differently every time. I mean, even if you had like Elf Tribal, which is huge in this format, you're going to pull different elves every time. Instead of just, I go fetch for this, I go fetch for this, I get the pieces of my combo, I build it, I put it together, and I win. Which, if that's your cup of tea, great. That's not mine. It's just a waste of time. It's a waste of 100 cards. I am not going to sit down and watch you scry and draw for 3 minutes and then beat me with the same stupid card. That's just an idiotic waste of time. My two EDH decks that I have are so random and weird. I mean, they have a central theme because that's what most people do, and my theme on my most powerful one is Don't Attack Me, and it has Aether Spouts, Aetherize, Settle the Wreckage, like, the commander is Suspiria. Every time somebody swings at me, I get to draw a card per attacker, and I guarantee one of those cards is going to wreck your shit. It's hilarious in multiplayer because it's just revenge. The deck is just revenge in deck form. Like, you attack me, I'm going to be up your ass the rest of the game. Also, there is a boatload of counter spells and redirect. So if somebody really pisses you off and insists on keeping on swinging at you, like player 1 targets player 3 and you have a beef with player 2, you're going to redirect that spell at player 2. I mean, that thing wasn't even coming for you, but you're like, everything bad in life needs to happen to player number 2 from now on. Is anybody out there surprised that that's the first commander deck I built? Does it, maybe match my personality just a little bit? So if this format looks awesome, it's because it pretty much is. I mean, they use the point totals to suppress like really broken stuff, but I have a feeling a lot of people still just fetch and draw their way to single win conditions. It's just a hell of a lot harder to do without a commander, obviously. So that was the point of taking out the commander. I've never heard of a win on turn 2 infinite combo deck that doesn't use the commander. I mean, unless the commander is like part of the card fetch or the free caster. Well, it's basically part of it. He's not just there for decoration. So check out this awesome format if you want, or mix it up with commander, or, play any little portion of each, or mix in, like I said, play and chase. That's fun. Hey, do whatever you want, because casual formats are all about having fun. Remember that. Thanks for watching. Let me know how badly I pissed you off on a scale from 1 to 10, but not 11 though. Not 11. 11 isn't allowed. This is Canadian Highlander. And I will see you guys next video.